Hello and welcome back to the Be a Better You podcast. I'm your host, Allison K. Dagny. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. And I think this is really going to help a lot of people who maybe are trying to achieve specific things in their lives and they feel stuck, right? Now, this all has to do with the subconscious mind. It also has to do with the reticular activating system. I'm going to explain what that is if you're not familiar, as well as manifestation as part of this. So, the thing I want you to know first and foremost is that your nervous system cannot manifest safety if it still thinks that you're in danger. So, if you've ever tried to bring something into your life, like you've been wanting more peace, you've been wanting a healthier relationship, you really desire financial freedom, but maybe you keep getting the opposite of these things, I want you to hear this. You can't manifest safety, love, abundance, all these things if your nervous system still thinks it's in danger. This is a dual process using your mind as well as your body, okay? And your nervous system is part of your body. So today I'm breaking down why your subconscious mind, specifically that reticular activating system, is filtering your reality through the lens of fear, and how to retrain it to start filtering it for freedom. And the reason this is so important is because when you are in a really regulated nervous system state, when you are feeling content instead of, heightened emotions, then you can attract more of the things that you want into your life. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I had my old manifestation coach on, Victoria D'Ambrosio. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I would highly encourage you to go back a couple episodes and listen to that. But today we are going to get into this, and hopefully this will give you some new insight and information that you haven't ever thought about. Now, the first thing I want to mention here is that manifestation, I'm sure people have heard of this. Some people think it's all woo-woo, right? Well, it isn't, because it does have to do with the science of our brain. And I'm going to explain how. But manifestation isn't just about our thoughts, okay? It's about what we believe on a subconscious level. So I believe that we are manifesting all the time. Every waking moment we are manifesting. So if you find yourself repeating things like, I can't do it, or it's too hard, or life never cuts me a break, those are the things that your brain is hearing repetitively and wants to be right. It wants to show you more of the things that you tell it consistently, okay? So this is about what's happening on a subconscious level. If you've listened to this podcast before, or if you understand about the subconscious mind, you know that it is running 95% of the show, whether you're aware of it or not. That's why it's called subconscious, because it's below your conscious awareness. Now, your conscious mind, right, that's the 5%, may want love. It may want success. It may want to feel self-worth. It may want peace and abundance, all the things, right? Yes, you could even say that right now. You're sitting here nodding your head. Yeah, I want all these things. But your subconscious mind is creating your lived experience. It is what is creating that reality for you. So if in the subconscious mind, in the 95%, there are things that contradict what you want consciously, that's what is going to be driving the show, driving your reality. So if it believes that you're unsafe, if it believes that you are unworthy, or that you're trapped, or that you'll never make it, or you can't be successful, it's going to reject or sabotage whatever you consciously desire. So in that 5%, if you are desiring a healthy relationship, but you believe on a subconscious level that you don't deserve that, or that if you're in a relationship that is healthy, that could mean something about you negatively, right? There's so many layers to this, so many things that can come up. Now, let me tell you about the reticular activating system and what it is and how it works if you're not familiar. RAS for short, reticular activating system. I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but it is a bundle of nerves in your brainstem, like at the back of your head where your brain connects to your spinal cord, okay? That filters the input that comes into your mind from your senses, right? So from your outer environment, if it's the breeze on your skin, if it's the sound of a ticking clock, it's the visuals that you're bringing in from your eyes, the scents that you're smelling, right? Feeling of your feet on the ground, whatever it is. Okay. All of that there's actually like billions of bits of information that we are exposed to every single second of the day. Okay. So whatever is coming in, if all of that were coming in and we were processing all of it, it would be like our brain exploding, right? It would be like a computer crashing because it's like overloaded with too much. And so the reticular activating system is deciding what you need to focus on, what is important, and what needs to be filtered out. So it only allows certain things in that's important. So it's like a personal assistant for your subconscious mind, okay? It's going to only show you what matches your beliefs when it comes to this kind of stuff that we're talking about today, right? It's gonna, if you're focusing on your computer and there is, I don't know, a car driving by, you might hear it, but you're not really focused on it, right? If something else, like let's say there's like a tag on your shirt and it's kind of itching your back, right? Like if you're focused on what's in front of you, like your computer, whatever you're doing, you notice it there, but it's like filtered out, right? And there's so many other things like peripheral vision, different things like that. It gets filtered out. So this is the same thing. This is what your reticular activating system does. Right? Only show her what matches her beliefs at the time. Now, when we're talking about specifically subconscious beliefs, not just sensory information, the subconscious mind works for you in this way too, not just the physical sensations. So if you believe something that you've been believing since the day you were born, right? Or that you've been made to believe throughout your life, from society, from your family, from your upbringing, from your parents, like whatever, all of that stuff that you have programmed in your subconscious mind, your RAS, the reticular activating system, is going to want to show you more of that. Okay, so if you have really good programming, really positive programming, like I'm amazing, I'm a good person, I'm confident, like those kinds of things, you're going to see more of it. But if you have the opposite, you have the negative sides, the things that are causing you to feel sad or depressed or anxious or worried or depressed, whatever, like those things, your brain, again, your reticular activating system is going to show you more of it. Okay, so we need to be working with this to help us bring into our lives the things that we really want. Okay, so I'm using the word manifestation here. This is all tied together with your nervous system. It's all tied together with your subconscious mind. Okay, so let's give an example here. If you believe that all men are unsafe, the reticular activating system is going to filter for signs of danger. It's going to look for red flags, even in safe men. Okay, so if you have been hurt by men in your life and you believe like all men are bad, there's no good men out there, men are inherently unsafe, men have ulterior motives, right? Your reticular activating system is looking for proof and evidence of that. So even if you saw a good man doing something good, your reticular activating system might filter it out, so you're not even noticing it. Okay, even though it's actually happening, even though there are good men out there, your brain wants to see the bad ones, the news articles, the people that you hear about. Your friends tell you this narcissist they met on a date, like, see, it confirms it again. See, all men are bad. See, this is danger, 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 right? So this is what your reticular activating system does for you. It wants to show you more of what you believe. But the problem with this is often we don't challenge the things that we believe on a subconscious level. So that is why when it comes to like what is happening on a subconscious level, we need to really inspect it, because we may be missing out on things just because our brain has filtered it out, because it's not agreeing with the things that we believe subconsciously. Now, when if you're listening to this, chances are you have experienced some level of emotional abuse in your lifetime. Emotional abuse actually trains the reticular activating system to filter for fear, okay? So you learned to expect disappointment, or you learned to expect people to gaslight you, or you learned to expect that people will abandon you, or you learned that people will try to hurt you, okay? Your reticular activating system was trained during that time to look for more of it. So anytime you're with anybody or you're in a relationship with people, you're probably going to be looking for that. Maybe not consciously, right? This is all unconscious, under the surface kinds of things. But I can remember when I first got out of my emotionally abusive relationship, and I went to church by myself, and I remember sitting there and just looking around the church like afraid, like, oh my gosh, I bet that person is a narcissist. I bet that person's an emotional abuser. I bet this person is horrible to their wife. Like, I was actually seeing, even though it wasn't even right there in front of me, I was just like, the expectation that this is reality, right? Because I don't want to be hurt again. And I know you don't either, right? So, but when you're in an emotionally abusive situation, you're training the reticular activating system to filter for you so that you can feel safe, okay? So you may have become hyper aware of people's facial expressions, their shifts in their tone or their body language, the silent treatment, or maybe like just not responding to things right away. Maybe how they responded, if they were vague, or, if they were like not really seemingly interested or whatever, because your survival depended on it, right? Your survival in the past depended on you being hyper aware to these things. And without it, you could be unsafe, all right? So here are some signs that your reticular activating system is still filtering through a trauma lens. So I want you to think about it like this. Like, if you have a, what do you call those things? Like binoculars, right? When you look through binoculars, you can direct your binoculars in a certain direction, right? So let's just say you get your binoculars out and you're looking out at a lake and you see a bird, like, I don't know, a bird you've never seen before. Let's say it's like a great blue heron, a big great blue heron. You see that, and you're focused and zoned in on that great blue heron. Well, what you didn't know was that to the right there was a deer, to the left there was a bear, up in the corner there was a hawk on a tree. Like, you're only zoned in on this one thing, so your perspective isn't wide enough to see the whole picture. So this is similar to how your reticular activating system does. It zones in on what it thinks you need to see. So this is because of what you've been believing, right? So we'll just call that the trauma lens. So here are the signs. Maybe you miss opportunities for connection or for peace or for abundance because they're not registering. That's not familiar to you. So you're always saying things like, oh, I can't ever find anybody, or oh, nobody ever wants to hang out with me, or oh, like, I'm always like missing out and everybody else gets lucky and I don't, right? This is a sign that maybe your RAS is filtering through that trauma lens. Another one may be that you notice red flags that aren't there, but you miss the green flags because they feel off, right? So you might be, like, for instance, let's say one of your friends is starting to date someone new, and she really likes this person, and she's telling you all about him and how kind he is and all these wonderful things about him, and that he bought her flowers. And immediately you're like, oh, he bought you flowers. This must mean that, red flag. He's a love bomber, right? You might see something that isn't really there, but you might miss the green lights, like, oh, he does what he says he's going to do. He is fully committed. He is treating her really nicely, right? You might be zoned in, like those binoculars, right, on that great blue heron, focusing on things maybe that just, affirm your narrative, okay? Now, another sign would be if you self-sabotage things like calm and stability, or even like a good healthy relationship because it doesn't match your internal programming. So if like you're with somebody and you find that you're picking fights or that you're doing things that would sabotage the relationship, that could be because it's not matching, that relationship is not matching your programming. So if your programming says like, I don't deserve to be in a healthy relationship, or I'm not good enough, or I can't do things right, then that's going to come, front and center to try to sabotage that, so that whatever's happening matches what you believe. So it matches that internal programming in your subconscious mind. So that's how your reticular activating system starts filtering, right? If it's filtering through that trauma lens, that's what it's going to do. It's going to show you more of the things that you believe on a subconscious level, not what you want to believe, not what you consciously want. Like, yes, I want a healthy relationship. Of course you do. Everyone does, right? Then why are so many people not in them? It's because of what's happening in their subconscious mind. Okay? So how do we rewire the reticular activating system for safety and for what we truly want, like on a conscious level? Well, number one, it's really important that your nervous system feels safe, okay? That is really, really important. If your nervous system isn't safe, then it is not going to be able to do its job effectively to help you bring in and manifest the things that you truly want. So there are lots of ways that you can do this. There are breathing exercises, there are physical, somatic exercises that you can do to get your nervous system regulated. Okay, that's number one. Number two is reprogramming your subconscious beliefs, which is what I help people with. Not just using like affirmations or like hypnosis or something like that. Like, and some of those things do work in certain ways, but the most important part is that whenever you're using, is speaking the language of the subconscious mind. If you are not speaking the language of the subconscious mind, you might as well be wasting your time, okay? Because you can't just convince your brain of something by telling it something over and over again, because it's like speaking Swahili. It does not pick it up. So in order to manifest something into your reality, your nervous system has to be regulated, but you have to speak to the subconscious mind. You have to speak with stories, details, visualizations, and emotion. All of those things are the language of the subconscious mind. So to rewire it for that safety and desire, those two things, number one, and then directing your reticular activating system by focusing on what you do want, right? A lot of people get this wrong. They're like, I don't want to be in a bad relationship. I don't want to be overweight anymore. I don't want to be, like, they're focusing on the wrong thing. Okay, you need to focus on what you do want, not focusing on what you don't want, because what happens is your reticular activating system throws out the don't want and goes to what you said. So for instance, if you said, I don't want to be in a bad relationship, it takes out the don't. It doesn't understand or register negative. So it will say then, I want to be in a unhealthy relationship. And that's what you will be looking for. And that's the filter that your reticular activating system will be using. Okay. And obviously that's not going to help us bring in these good things in our life to help us manifest what really is for us. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. But number one is just to be aware of your language and how you're speaking to yourself internally. Okay. Throw out the negative words like no and don't. Throw those words out and change the verbiage to speak to what you do want. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of like examples to help kind of drive this home. But before I do, I want to just remind you that your body, your nervous system isn't sabotaging you. Your reticular activating system isn't sabotaging you. It's protecting you. But it's protecting you based on old data, old programming, old information that needs to be changed. But the more you show your nervous system that peace is safe, the more your reticular activating system will start filtering for the people, the places, the opportunities that match that. And that's not just manifestation, right? That's healing fueled creation. Like we are actually creating something in our lives based on the healing that we're doing, because we're seeing things in a different light. We're working with our nervous system. We are believing things about ourselves using the language of the subconscious mind, proof and evidence, stories, images, and emotions to do this. Okay? So let me give you some examples that maybe will help you with this. So if somebody wants a loving, emotionally available partner, right? They've been in bad relationships a lot, but they're like, man, I just really like to be in a loving relationship with somebody who's emotionally available, but they keep ending up with people who are like avoidant or manipulative, and it's not what they want. So consciously, that person will say, I want love. I want this. I want that. I desire these things in a person, right? And they may even try to manifest it. They may even say in their mind or put it on a vision board or descriptively write it out on paper what they want and what they desire. But subconsciously, if she believes that love equals pain, right, then she is going to block that. She's going to block that. Even though she's done all the vision boards, all the manifesting, all the write-ups, right? If on a subconscious level, she believes that love equals pain, then she's not going to actually want to call that in, because the subconscious mind, if the subconscious mind, that 95% is fighting that 5%, that manifestation is never going to come into her reality, right? So you're not really manifesting what you want. You're actually manifesting what you expect or believe is possible. And that's different, right? Those are two different things. Okay, because if I want something very deeply, I desire something very deeply, but I actually don't believe I can have it, or I actually believe if I have it, something bad will happen to me, or, if I have it, something that I want, like consciously, and I actually get it, then that means that I might have to sacrifice my family and time with them or whatever, right? It's going to be blocked from you, okay? And those expectations, those beliefs, those come from your subconscious programming. So if you're over here like, oh my gosh, like I've been trying to manifest these things my whole life and nothing's coming through, I'm here to tell you it's because of what's going on in your subconscious programming and because of your reticular activating system and your nervous system. Okay? So you can call these things into your life. You can have the life that you want, but you have to do some actual work to do it. And remember, the reticular activating system, that filter that I was telling you earlier, and some people have heard me talk about this, but like if you want to buy a new car and you want a red Ferrari, right? You're going to start seeing red Ferraris all over the place. You're going to see them on TV. You're going to see them in a magazine. You're going to see them on your social media. You're going to maybe see them out on the road. But your reticular activating system is doing this for you all day long, right? But it's based on what you put your focus on, your attention on, and what you are telling it is true, okay? Like what is possible for you. So which story do you want to tell it, right? Because we are manifesting all day long, whether you know it or not. So we got to get out of zombie mode. We got to get out of autopilot. We have to be aware of the things that we're thinking about. So what about if you grew up walking on eggshells, right? Because your parents would get mad every time there was a noise, or if the kids were running around and being silly, right? And the parents would yell. If you grew up walking on eggshells around people, you might subconsciously, without even realizing it, scanning your environment for anger, for mood shifts, for whatever, right? And your reticular activating system is literally filtering for signs of danger, even if there is no threat, right? Even if there is no threat, that's what it's doing. Okay, so this is, again, it's just really important to understand, like this is a part of your brain. This is something that, is scientifically backed. Why aren't we working with this? Why aren't we doing more to be aware so that we can bring into our lives the things that we really want? The love, the peace, the abundance, the healthy relationships, the financials, the job, like whatever. Okay? So another example that I want to share would be, let's say that your ex used the silent treatment a lot to punish you. Then your brain, because of that trauma, right, might still perceive any sort of quiet moments, even in safe relationships, as bad, as scary, as abandonment, as rejection, as punishment, right? Even if like that is not the person's intention whatsoever. You may still go there because your body is going to sense something from the past. It's going to tense up, you might spiral. You're assuming, making up stories, thinking something's wrong, even if something's not, right? So the reticular activating system in this situation is at play also because it's focusing in on that fear, the fear of being abandoned, the fear of being hurt, punished, whatever, even when it's not actually unsafe, okay? Even when it is safe. So in my past relationship, my nervous system was taught that peace was the calm before the storm, right? Not something to enjoy. I actually preferred the silent treatment when I got it because my ex-husband would lecture me for hours and it was excruciating to deal with. Circular conversations, gaslighting, manipulation, coercion, criticism, you name it, right? For hours. It was tears and arguing. It was horrific. So my nervous system, whenever he would give me the silent treatment, I enjoyed it, but I knew that something was going to come later. Like I knew that I could enjoy this in the moment, but like as soon as he was ready to talk, it was going to be back to that, right? So if I hadn't talked to, let's say, my boyfriend in my new relationship for several hours or whatever, couldn't get a hold of him or something, then my nervous system would start to freak out and think, oh my gosh, something bad's going to happen, right? Now, I've worked through that, so that's not the case for me anymore, but you might relate to that. Let's talk a little bit about how you could be manifesting from survival mode. And this is not good because if you're manifesting from survival mode, it's probably not going to work. It's probably futile. It's pointless. So I once, just as a story, I once had a client who kept manifesting emotionally unavailable partners. Why? Because deep down, she actually didn't feel safe being seen. So how could she be in a relationship with somebody who was emotionally available, who wanted to be with her constantly, if she actually didn't feel safety in being seen in a relationship, right? That was in her subconscious. So we cleared that out, and I helped her reprogram that. We together reprogrammed it. But when she cleared that out, she didn't just change who she was dating. She was changing how she saw herself, right? Because she was like thinking that it's not safe to be seen. And if it's not safe to be seen, then how can you have that vulnerability in any relationship? You're going to keep attracting the people who are not emotionally available to you. And that was her situation. Now, fast forward, this is not the case anymore. She's in a healthy relationship now because she was able to change the way that she saw herself through reprogramming all of that. So signs that you might be manifesting from survival mode would include, like, let's say that you really struggle to receive without like feeling bad or guilty, or like maybe you're somebody who says like, no, it's okay. You don't need to do that for me, blah, 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 right? Struggling to receive money, love, anything really. That could be you in survival mode. And then again, when I say manifesting is not always just the positive thing. Like, I'm going to manifest whatever my reality is based on my programming and based on my reticular activating system. So you could manifest struggling to receive love, struggling to receive money in abundance without guilt because of being in survival mode. You could be manifesting how do I say this? Pushing away safe people in your life, you could be manifesting that. Pushing them away. You see them, you push them away. You see them, you push them away, right? Maybe they feel boring. Maybe you're used to chaos. Maybe you're used to drama in your life, right? That's your programming. Boring is not that. So you may reject really safe people because you're manifesting from the subconscious of chaos, drama, negativity, or whatever that might be. So you would reject the boring, you would reject the safety, you would reject the things that don't align with that. Because again, your subconscious mind, your reticular activating system is going to show you what you believe. It's going to show you more of it. Another one would be like I said before, like how you're not noticing the red flags, maybe because they feel familiar, or maybe you are not noticing the green flags because you're focused on only the red ones, right? So this can be different for everyone, but if you are like, oh man, I'm doing this. Oh, I am rejecting safe people because they feel boring. Or, oh yeah, I do struggle to receive love. Like, this is an important notice to you that, hey, you're manifesting these things into your life. Okay. Now I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that you are like calling in abuse or calling in hurt or anything like that. The purpose of this is just to show you, so that you have this awareness in your mind that you create your own reality, right? You don't control other people's behavior, right? So if someone does something to you to harm you, that is what they did, right? That is not on you. You get to decide how you want to move forward with that. You get to decide how you want to react to it, how you want to feel about it. Like, that's all on you. When we're talking about specifically, like, what do you want? What do you want to manifest more of in your life? That's what I'm talking about. I want to manifest more money. I want to manifest more love. I want to manifest more health. Well, if your reticular activating system and your subconscious mind aren't aligned with those things, your chances are seeing it very, very low. Okay. Okay. What else did I want to talk about here? Oh, this story. I have to tell you this story. So I was out on a walk today. This is really what inspired this podcast. So I was out on a walk today and I was listening to my favorite manifestation coach, Ms. Victoria D'Ambrosio, who I have had on this podcast a few episodes back. You can go back and listen. And in her podcast called The Mindset Edit, she talks all about manifestation. And as I'm listening, one of the episodes that she talks in is about manifesting something to come into your reality. Now, you start with something very small that your nervous system can get on board with, that isn't like, oh, I'm going to manifest $1 million by the end of the year, right? Your nervous system's probably going to go, that's probably not real. That's not going to happen for me. And so it basically throws it in the trash. But what she suggests is start with something like a dolphin, okay? I'm going to manifest seeing a dolphin, and then you put a time limit on it. 24 hours. I'm going to manifest seeing a dolphin in 24 hours. Now, I'm going to tell you this story. It might sound a little bit crazy, but I manifest seeing this dolphin within an hour, under an hour on my walk, okay? Now, this wasn't luck. This was my nervous system being in full alignment, at ease, with joy and openness, right? Because if I said, oh, I'm going to manifest $1 million in 24 hours, my brain, my body would have just totally said, that's impossible. That's not ever going to happen for you. So you start baby steps, right? You start with something easy, like a dolphin, okay? I don't live near the ocean. I don't live near dolphins. I don't live near an aquarium. I'm not going to an aquarium. Like, I'm on a walk in my neighborhood, okay? So I decided to do this little exercise from her podcast. And I thought, all right, I'm going to manifest a dolphin. You don't specify where you're going to see it. You just say you're going to manifest it. And you say the time within 24 hours. And then you feel into the feelings of how that will be once you do. So when you see that dolphin, like, oh my gosh, how exciting. Like, oh my gosh, like, I love little dolphins and seeing their cute little faces and their, ee or whatever they do. Like, you bring in the emotion, okay? And you only have to hold it for like 2 to 3 minutes of that feeling. And then you let it go. You just go about your day, you do your thing. You don't think about the dolphin. You don't keep looking for it. You're not playing like Where's Waldo and looking for the dolphin. No, you just let it go and you just let the dolphin come to you. So I finished my walk. I remember the time was 10:44 a.m. when I did this exercise. And I got home at like 11:35, okay, a.m. Well, I drink my water, and then I open up my phone and I open up Facebook, and there is an advertisement for, I don't even know what it was, and there was 2 dolphins on the front page of the Facebook that I just opened. And it wasn't even like a page that I follow, it was like a suggested page or something. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I took a screenshot, I sent it to Victoria, and I'm like, you have to look at this. I'm like, I try to manifest this in 24 hours, and it came in less than 1 hour for me. And she got my message, and she wrote back and said, girl, look at where I am as I'm listening. And then I looked down, and there is a picture where she's like, it appears that she's in her car taking a picture of a storefront called Dolphin South. And there is a dolphin on the glass window of the store. And she said, and for context, she said, I'm visiting my family in New York, and we're in a town about 30 minutes away from my parents that we almost never go to. And so I wanted to share that story with you because I felt so excited about this. I'm like, man, if I can put this kind of focus and intention and emotion on a dolphin, what else can I bring into my life? What else can I manifest, right? And I believe we all have the power to manifest, every single one of us, and I believe we're doing it every day. It's just a matter of looking at, what are you manifesting? Are you manifesting that you can't do this, you can't do that, that you're a failure, that you're not good enough? Like, are you manifesting that? Or are you manifesting like, wait a minute, I am amazing. I can do these things. I am able to succeed. I am able to bring in these wonderful things in my life, right? So I was feeling emotionally lit up by this whole thing. It played out exactly, well, not exactly, but it played out how I imagined the feeling to feel once I saw the dolphin. And then I got like an additional surprise from Victoria, but she saw the dolphin after I sent that to her. So when your body isn't bracing for impact out of fear and worry and things like that, it's way easier to receive. So that's why I talk about, like, you have to, make sure that your nervous system is aligned, that you're manifesting from a place of peace and security, and it's going to be a lot easier to draw in the things that you really, really want. Love, peace, emotional recovery, abundance, money, a new job, like whatever it is, right? This isn't woo. This is literally science. Like, our brain is like a giant computer, and we're telling it what to focus on. And it's really important to know what you're telling it to focus on. If you're telling it to focus on things that are going to bring you sadness and grief and pain, right? Well, maybe we need to do an overhaul on that and look at it differently and change some of that programming. So you can regulate your nervous system. You can reprogram your subconscious beliefs. You can focus your reticular activating system to look for the things that you really want it to look for, so it shows you more of that. That's going to be a really, really good thing to do to help you bring more of whatever it is that you desire into your life. And I want you to just think of this, that it's not that you're blocked, right? Like, manifestations and what you deserve and desire is always coming towards you, right? It's just that your body is waiting for the proof that it's safe to let go of the past, from the past traumas, or believing that you're not good enough or that you don't deserve things, right? It's got to let go of that stuff. Your body needs to know that it's okay. And when you give your nervous system the proof that it's okay, that's when the shifts can happen so fast. That's when you'll just find money on the sidewalk. That's when you'll just meet somebody that you immediately click with, right? It's like magical, but it's really just alignment, okay? It's getting your nervous system aligned, getting your reticular activating system to focus on what you want it to focus on, and reprogramming the subconscious to work for you instead of against you. Now, if you are ready to stop these spirals, the fears, and you want to feel safe to attract the peace that you want, the people that you want, the opportunities that you want, I am offering my Ask Allison Voxer support right now, and there are a few spots left. I can't do, unlimited amounts of people in this because I'm literally in Voxer pretty much all the time trying to help people. So this isn't a course or like a long-term program. It's a month-long commitment. So you sign up for a month, and if you want to cancel after that, you can. Otherwise, it just renews for another month. So it's high-touch support. It's just you and me. There's no one else. It's not like group or anything. Nobody else is going to hear what you're saying. And I'm in your pocket. And twice a week, I will come in and I will answer any of your questions that you have on Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you are having those stuck moments, if you are in disbelief that you can make things happen for yourself, I'm going to help you shift that stuff. I'm going to help you show your mind the different stories. I'm going to help you see the other possibilities. That's what I love to do. Like, it is like my favorite thing. So again, I only have a few spots left, but I do this because I want to keep it small and I want to keep it personal, and I just don't have time to like help unlimited amounts of people. But if you can't get in, that's okay. I will put you on a wait list if you want to try for the following month. So if you feel like your nervous system maybe needs some support, if you need some tools and some help and some guidance from me, then grab your spot now, and there will be a link in the show notes to do that. So just as a quick wrap up, something you need to know is like, you don't have to like work harder to manifest what you want in your life. You have to shift the way that you manifest. You have to shift the focus and what your Raz is looking at and what your subconscious mind is programmed for, okay? You just need your body and your brain to see what's possible, and that the desires that you have are safe for you, okay? Because if you want something, but your body and brain thinks that's unsafe, and I'm not talking about like consciously, I'm talking unconsciously, subconsciously, like, oh, I'd love to be in a happy, healthy relationship. But if there's something in your subconscious that says men are bad, obviously you're not going to be in that happy, healthy relationship, okay? That's what I'm talking about here. You don't have to like force anything. You just have to remove what's in the way of keeping you from getting what you actually want and the things that you want to happen in your life. And then you'll be shocked at how fast they start showing up, just like I was with my little dolphin story. So I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being open to all these things. If you need my support and help, I have a lot of things that you can do in the form of courses, in the form of free downloads, meditations, like all kinds of things. There's a belief quiz on my website. Like, I have so many different things for people at different levels. But right now, like I'm talking about, I'm trying to fill up my Ask Allison with the Voxer support, which is voice note support that I give to anybody for a full month. And that price is $200 unless you're in my community, and then it's $100 to join. All right, well, this has been a fun episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the stuff that you hear, I'd love to hear from you, or just leave me a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you're listening. That helps immensely to get the word out to help people as they're recovering from emotional abuse and they're trying to bring in more goodness into their life, just like you are. So thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next week.